There we are. Welcome back, everybody, to another session of the Night Thorns. Tiny dog is scared because I just started talking. So I can mute myself. We're gonna jump straight into the recap of last session, starting with Creature.
Thank you, sir. Welcome on back. We had a rather interesting session. Lots of fighting were done in the previous session, so this was a nice little bit of a chill time. So we began with the discussions with the priesthood. I think both of our knights actually has a little bit of things to tell us about the weapons they were holding and why they actually didn't keep them. And for my part, I had some interesting experiences with the souls that I've been keeping in my chest. I will focus on those since it affected me mostly. Apparently, I had a bit of a moment where I had two souls trying to take me over. I currently carry 3, which led to a bit of a internal struggle where I ended up being the dominant one, safely enough. Our good Master Yodi examined me, and we learned some more things about myself. And I had a bit of a thought about the lost soul that we encountered, which might be some kind of epic being from the First or Second Empire. We don't know exactly. We don't have enough to go on. So lots of speculations and rumors about the power of this person. But it could be that I'm carrying around a demigod at the moment, which is kind of scary. That part is dormant, though. Fortunately enough. We did travel away from that particular place and encountered... we went along the way down into the borderland, into Cramont from Avilar. And we stopped at a watchtower, where we actually ran into more trouble after staying the night. And well, let's see, Mador, maybe you can take up this thread here.
Yes, well, most of my time was spending as rear guard until we got to the tower. Then I was decided to do some stargazing, and I noticed some of the constellations have changed. Wench has disappeared, and a new constellation has replaced it, and Hound has disappeared, and a new constellation had replaced it. The area that was supposedly undead, no stars, there's stars in there now. I must have been up there a few hours. I was getting ready to head down, and all of a sudden, this dark-haired, dark-skinned lady was kind of hovering in front of me. For some reason, she thinks I was the leader of the Night Thorns. When she asked me for my name, I asked her to give me her name first, and her name was Baragunda, first spear of Tasha, the 1 of 3, or the 3 of 1, something like that. And for some reason, she doesn't like us meddling in the affairs of Tasha, and that the Death Lord wants to take over, and they're fighting them. He wants all undead, and Tasha wants the living to live with the dead. To me, it didn't make sense, either or. I guess she tried to force me to invite her into the group, and a gold light paired around the tower, and well, she kind of went flying. I forget how far through the woods. A lot of trees got taken down. I headed back down, said nothing because no one heard anything on the inside. When Marisol woke up, I had a brief chat with her outside about what happened as I was looking down at the trail from the trees that got kind of taken out all the way. I forget how long it was. And I'll let Marisol take over from there.
Yeah, so we finished up in the temple and traveled south. And we are gonna head for a boat to take us into the swamps, basically. We met a dude that had been traveling with my cousin. My cousin is missing, presumed dead. That's not the greatest news, but at least we know. Mador told me all about how there are stars missing and that there's this vampire hunting us, which is not cool. So I sent a message to Walter describing it. Hopefully we'll get an answer within a few days. Other than that, I didn't do that much. Perhaps Magnus can tell us more about the weapons in the temple.
Yes, Magnus and Mado spent some time in prayer over the holy weapons that we found. Mado said quite rightly that he wasn't actually a champion and refused them, and Magnus felt neither of them were exactly right for him. So they returned them to the priest, who gave Magnus a pair of infantry boots in return. Just the thing. Mado said something about his armor, and apparently saw a picture of it. Something about missing pieces and things like that. Magnus isn't terribly clear. But apparently the nearest piece is somewhere to the east of us, heading in the direction that we're going, which is really handy. Magnus and Estrella got to have a nice little chat about the state of their relationship. And then we struck out, as told. Was the kerfuffle at the top of the tower. And then, Edemir did something interesting with the spirit of the tower that we finished in. We ended up asking some questions and getting some interesting answers. I'll let Edemir tell us about it.
Yeah, just, doing my druid thing, talking to rocks, talking to plants. All good. They had a lot of interesting things to say. And I'll pass it to Zara.
Okie dokie. So Zara spent the beginning of last session in the Grand Temple of Iran, picking the brains of the priests of the Keeper of Secrets. This time around, she went out to the edge of where the warding stone shield kind of like peters out that keeps it safe, and started searching for how they keep getting into these warding stones, which kill the undead. So she did have some luck finding like the remnants of the ritual site where they like tore a hole in the warding stones protection so that they could make their assault, and she used that information to barter for more secrets out of the priests of Iran, since they got a lot of secrets, and secrets are valuable. We also got to see our delivery guys from the Fae plane delivering all of our potions to the hotties and the rest of the dumbasses with a magnificent drawing of Magnus in full jester regalia. It was beautiful, beautiful. Aside from that, everyone else stuff mostly tied to their individual stories. So let's toss it over to Eody.
Yes. I think y'all pretty much tied it all up, but we did have a little conversation where Estrella wanted to make potions for the party, and Eody had some things to say about that. Maybe we can teach her a little bit on how to make the potions and things like that, but it's going to be tough without another walking cauldron. Other than that, I think we're just ready to push forward. So I'll go to Shoggoth.
Perfect. So yeah, you've been pushing through the swamps of Kamon for quite a while now. It's been rough going, for certain, but you've managed to get on a riverboat heading to La Linde. Probably about an hour out from La Linde as you're moving in now. You can see a lot of both people fishing, people hunting for crabs, gathering all sorts of herbs and alchemical ingredients from the fairly thick moss and forests around the river you're on. Well, not so much a forest as a swamp with a lot of trees in it. The ground is noticeably not very stable and very watery most of the places. The bugs have become a constant companion, in addition to humidity, heat, and several different absolutely awful smells. You haven't been able to get a word out of your boatman so far. So you're on a pretty wide, flat, pram-like boat. Seems to be a half orc, just shuffling you along with a long staff. Elderly fellow, bulky, very stable on his feet, but not too talkative. He grunted when you gave him some silver to take to La Linde, and that's pretty much all you've heard from him.
I politely asked the bugs to stay away from me, but everybody else is fair game.
Right, give us a diplomacy check there. All right. Yeah, the bugs are definitely staying away from Edamir, and more than once you've actually seen little swarms of some sort of locust-like creature carry live rats or mice over to Edamir in the last few days, but they're still bothering all the rest of you. Except for Preacher, because, well, Terracotta doesn't really give up too much for these bugs. So they're not stinging him, but several have tried building nests in his joints and other crevices.
Mm.
So it's, well, Mador, you've got your finger up.
Yeah, I wanted to tell the party more or less to be on the lookout for any possible ambushes after what happened to me the night before up in the tower before we departed. So just kind of backdate on that. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We're just gonna go ahead and assume you did that. I don't see no issue with that whatsoever.
Marisol is getting exceedingly grumpy because it's humid and she's wet all the time, and there's all these fucking bugs.
I never thought that Aziz had something positive about it, but all these insects, yeah. I don't like that.
I think they're fine. A lot of them are pretty nice.
To you, maybe.
Iodi's just gonna go stand next to Marisol and start eating bugs that are like attacking her because I'm covered in scales and they can't do shit to me.
Thank you, Master Yodi. I appreciate it.
He's like snack pre-dinner, yes?
I have had really good crickets, but these are way too small.
But still crunchy.
Enjoy.
And I'll prestidigitate her dry as well.
Very nice.
Thank you. I'm handing him a golden coin for the hoard.
As it should be. So, what are the rest of you doing?
Trying to keep lookout. Basically, I think is the key bit for me, and also trying to keep us moving. I suppose we also been given some kind of push along staff or something, or is he doing all of the things on his own? This boatman?
No, he's doing all of it on his own. He probably
Oh
wouldn't
my God.
allow you to help even if you tried.
Impressive. Did we actually manage to get the carriage along with us?
The carriage is coming along with you, yeah.
My lord. Strong man, strong man.
It's a pretty big pram. But even so, with all of you on it, it's getting crowded. For sure. You haven't had much personal space for the last 2 days or so.
Mm. Well, in that case, I am just trying to get acclimated to the whole let's be in a swamp thing. So, looking around, making sure that I recognize what is supposed to be there and what's not supposed to be there. So, I kind of pick up on natural noises.
And I'm just going to be taking a little fox nap at the front of the boat. And Esoy, since he's from the swamp, is just swimming underneath the boat towards the front.
Yeah, it's a good thing you have Esoy with you. See, he is an apex predator, and you haven't really been bothered by crocodiles or any of the other hazards in the river that you were warned about before coming here. There was a huge snake of some sort that tried to constrict him and drown him on the first day, but after he drained that thing of blood, most things have left him alone. Esoy being a druid companion is a bit chonkier than most of others of his kind. Sorry, what was Sarah saying?
Zara's currently studying one of the books that she picked up from the mist-covered pit that we fought in quite some time ago. The spell books.
Right. Could you send me a DM about that?
Error 404. Information lost.
More like Shoggo brain shoggoing. But yes, the information's here somewhere. Well, you start working up towards La Linde. You can see this is definitely a town. Calling it a city would be generous to it. It's got a lot of people working outside of the walls. Probably stretching about 500 feet out from the walls towards the river. There are people tending whatever crops they can grow here. And from the smell of it, all of the tanners and other artisans that produce a strong smell are definitely not allowed to work inside of the city walls. So more than anything else, you're greeted by this stench of week-old urine coming in. Not necessarily much worse than the smell of the rotting swamp plants around you've been coming in with, but definitely not what you were hoping for. The walls themselves are a mix, you can see, of old brick, probably from an earlier fortress or something like that, and just a log palisade built in between. What city guards you can see are walking on top of the wall are dressed in some sort of lizard skin coat, it looks like. You can see some boiled leather, some chain, some iron hats here and there, but it's mostly seems to be variations of treated lizard skin. Most of them are carrying bows as well. bows, spears, and the usual maces. So you slide in through one of the curtain gates in the wall. You can see that most of Lalinde is built out of, the walls are white, probably caulked. What's under them is difficult to see. You see a lot of brick being used. The city's, there's a pleasant, almost alchemical smell from all of the different apothecaries and other traders readying the alchemical ingredients that are being gathered from Lilind. In the middle of this city, you can see a small keep, probably four or five, difficult to say from where you are, story tower with its own walls around them. Over it, you can see the flag of Lalind itself. It's green with a yellow bundle of herbs on it, and over that you have the silver swan on the light blue background with the white borders. Well, showing that this settlement answers to House Soyeri, masters of Gramont. Well, the half-orc definitely takes you up to one of the docks that you can just step off onto. Grunt to an almost identical half-orc standing on the dock. And I'm like, oh, we're gonna need a crane to get your wagon off. Could be done by noon.
Thank you. Can you point us to the nearest inn?
Of course, madam. There's three of them here in Lalind worth going to. Well, I say worth going to. There's three of them here in Lalind. One's the Quispy House, the oldest, most expensive of the inns. You have Madame Bienville's house, if you like pastries and pancakes for breakfast. That's where I would go. And the last one's the Monteleone. It's the newest, built with brick. It's quite upscale. Then again, I see there are several knights in your party. Might be where you want to go. It's the only one with the stable out of the three.
Well, thank you. I think we'll go for the sables. Come on, Billy.
So, with all the interesting smells and all the tanning and things going on, can I use my draconic scent to see if they're cooking any dragon meat or have any, like, dragon skins and all this?
You can. Give us a perception check.
Sure.
Holy cow.
Let's
Well,
just get all the crits out of the way before the fight. It's fine.
Just one of those days for you guys, isn't it? At first, you're not picking up anything at all. But a little gust of the breeze, you can smell dragon skin and dragon bone, old, worn. And there's also an underlying tang of a live, if not probably not a dragon, but maybe half dragon, or like you descended from dragons. You shouldn't have been able to pick up on something that faint with that breeze, unless it's something very large. But you pick it up just for a moment before it disappears.
I would like to see if I can track it down and figure out what it is. Everybody else is gathering up to go to the inn. Yoda's just kind of like
sniffing off like a distracted golden retriever, disappearing into the crowd.
Marisol, when we've booked our rooms, would you accompany me seeing if we can find some makeup here? Mine is running out.
Sure. Not that I use makeup, but I'll join you.
I mean, if someone has waterproof makeup, I would say it's the people here, right?
Well, if you're wearing makeup here, it should be waterproof.
Or just get yourself a nice head of illusions and have magical makeup.
Do you sponsor me?
That's what I use.
You could just polymorph yourself into, an animal.
Yeah, that's not a trick I know how to do, although I have to admit it would be very practical in a few situations.
Well, a hat of disguise is probably something we could get, but probably not here.
Nah, probably not, and it's also a lot more expensive than makeup, so we'll have to do with that for a while.
Sure, I'll go join you once we've gotten the heat in us and fixed the rooms and stuff. I
Thank you.
desperately feel a need to shower.
Right, so you're heading to the Monte Leone. So you, as the seven of you arrive there, it's a 4-story building, quite white. On the walls are quite white. It's got tiled roof, some sort of fired clay. It's a larger and more reminiscent of a small modern hotel. It's even got a lobby as you enter. There's a young lady dressed in a tight-fitting purple dress with a corset, hands covered in gloves. Most of her hair is covered by a hat. Tall, frilly neck on that coat as well. Yeah. A bit darker of skin than most people you've met in Golden Glen so far. But she smiles brightly as you enter. Welcome, travelers. I'm Honorine Bourlon. I will be your butler for today. What can I do for you? She bows deeply to Magnus and Medor.
We require room and shelter for the night, and food and baths and everything.
Very well, madame. Do you wish individual rooms? We have individual rooms. We have double rooms. We have a suite fit for 4 people on the top floor.
Well, how do people want to sleep?
Outside.
It's safer if we are at least in pairs.
Well, double rooms then.
Double rooms. Very well. That will be 3 gold pieces per night.
Sure thing.
Do you have any animals or other traveling companions that need to use the stables?
We have several horses.
That will be 2 extra copper per night for tending to them and feeding them.
Surely you can give us a discount. Haven't you heard of the great Night Thorns?
Knight Thorns. I can't say I've heard of him or her.
Yeah, we're a great adventuring group. We're actually on our way to kill the local dragon.
Oh, quite excellent indeed. Well, in that case, of course, you will be staying for free.
Perfect.
Please come in. Here are the keys to your rooms. There are only rooms on 2 different floors right now, so 2 rooms on the second floor and 2 rooms on the first floor. I'm afraid there's a traveling congress of tradesmen and traders here that have taken up most of the prime spots except for the suites. So I'm disappointed to say that I can only offer you rooms facing out towards the street.
That won't be a problem.
Very well.
It's very generous, Madame Baudeleone. Thank you.
Well, anything for a group of dragon slayers here to rid us of the terror that's been knocking on our doors and running away, and otherwise causing all sorts of trouble.
When was the last time you had your door knocked and nobody was there?
Oh, it's only a few nights ago, sir. 3 nights ago, somebody knocked on the door at the 3rd bell in the morning. And when I opened it, I only heard giggling from the darkened streets. Very off-putting, I tell you. And also, to come to a lady like me, wake me up, rob me of my beauty sleep. It's criminal, I tell you.
I'm sure you don't need it.
Oh, aren't you the cutest little fox man? If you'd like an early lunch, there's a small infestation of mice in the stables.
Oh, that sounds great. Thank you.
Right, so you got your room keys. She shows you around. There's a sitting room on the 1st floor with a fireplace. No fire in it right now because it's very warm. But they actually, in 2 of the corners, they have a young man and a young woman standing with a large leaf, just fanning over buckets filled with cold water and bits of ice to bring the temperature down. In addition to the sitting room, there's also a small room for that can be rented for a silver an hour for meetings, that sort of thing. Washery, of course, and in one of the larger rooms, there's a just as she opens the door, the steam comes rolling out, making everybody's hair frizzy. There are 4 large communal bathtubs. And when I say communal, you can rent a spot in them for a copper.
Damn, that looked nice.
It did. After days in the swamp.
Yeah, so who's sharing rooms?
Marcel, you want to share with me?
Sure.
I'll take the room next door.
I shall be sleeping outside with the soy and my other companions.
Mador, if you wouldn't mind keeping with me and standing watch while I sleep.
No problem, creature.
Because, yeah, recent experiences. Probably a good idea to have somebody keep an eye on me when I'm sleeping.
There's no room next door to Marisol and Estrella. It's about 4 rooms further down the hall. They're not even adjacent currently with the Merchants Conference.
You would hold a merchant conference in swamp. Well, I will never understand these people.
I'm sure
Well-
it's got to do with the medicinal herbs and the trades in them.
Yes.
And the rivers meet here.
That too.
Right, so that's Marisol and Estrella. Mador and Preacher will then be on the 2nd floor. Magnus and who on the 1st floor?
Yodi can have my double-side room, whatever, so he can, have room for his pile of gold he sleeps on.
I'm still wandering the city, so I won't know until I get there, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, while you're doing the room dispersals, just write them in chat when you feel you've found the room you want to bunk with. It's going to be important to have somebody who can clean their room and keep their locker proper, so Drill Sergeant doesn't murder you all. We go over to Iodi, who's sniffing his way through the streets.
Yeah, I'd originally intended to try to find a dragon body so that I could, like, study and, like, learn about, what we're going to go up against. But this half-dragon smells kind of interesting, so I'd like to try to figure out where that's at.
Yeah, it's a strong smell. Difficult to now that you're getting close. A lot of the people around here, you're noticing as you walk, are walking barefooted, just in pants that reach the knee and open vests. But you're noticing the closer you get to where you're headed, there's people are being more and more dressed until you find yourself standing outside of a temple to Geb. You can hear chanting from inside. I don't know how well versed Yodi is with religion, but what he does notice is as one figure. It's difficult to say if it's a man or a woman in very nice pants, nice tall black polished boots. You can see a purple shirt under a red cloak with some nice black leather gloves. As they reach out, open the door, and enter before closing it behind them, Yodi spots black scales on the person's skin between as the wrist between the shirt and the glove is shown for a moment. And when the smell from the door hits you, it's a very strong smell of it's not a dragon, it's not a half dragon either. You know the smell of half dragons. This is something different. Like there's draconic blood in there, but it's still inside a body, or as you're starting to suspect, several bodies.
From my experiences, are temples to Geb like public? Could I just go in and
Gives a DC 10 religion roll.
Sure.
That'd be pretty common knowledge for anybody.
Perfect.
You're trying to remember if Geb's one of the good or the bad guys. Pretty certain he's got something to do with like cooking hot dogs, chanting in circles, giving to the poor, something like that. But you hear the lock click on the temple, and well, that sort of dispels your uncertainty about whether this is an open sermon or not.
Interesting. Okay, well, I love hot dogs, and I'm super curious. I'm gonna like walk around the building and see if there's any kind of like side door or anything like that.
Right. So you're just traipsing about, or are you trying to be circumspect about it?
No, I'm just walking.
Just walking about.
Pretty sure I stand out enough that there wouldn't be a lot of, good of trying to sneak.
Well, Coyote's just walking about around there. You can see side doors on both the right and the left side of the temple, as well as a back door. All of them are locked if you try them. Curiously enough, the windows, you can see a sermon inside. Give me an Arcana roll.
Okay.
Just lots of regular people. And you can hear some sort of hymn about how Geb is good, Geb is great. But you're a pretty powerful magical caster in your own right at this point. You're pretty certain what's on the windows is an illusion.
Oh, like an illusion where looking through the window shows you something different, or?
Yep.
Interesting.
Very well made as well, and again, there's just a hint of the draconic to it. Like some of the weaving of the spell at least imitates the style of draconic magic, as you know it. But it's clumsy and well done with great gusto. It's not very. There's no finesse to it.
Okay. I'm gonna make a mental note that perhaps I need to have a conversation with Zara about Geb and some of those things. And I'm gonna go back to my original purpose and see if I can find some dragon meat or skin or something I can study to learn what we're gonna go fight.
Right. Takes you roughly an hour before you come to a a place called the Cochon Cookery, where you can smell. It's draconic of some sort. It's not a dragon, but there's definitely way more real dragon to this than there was to whatever was going on in that temple, and it smells absolutely delicious. So it's a big round building, one story but tall under the roofs, with a lot of people sitting outside eating, trying to enjoy what little breeze they can get. Looking in, you can actually see a couple of children, human children, at least one halfling and a gnome, sitting on some sort of contraptions in the roof where they keep pedaling with their feet, and little fans are going, but quite large fans are going around, cooling the restaurant itself down.
Okay, I'm gonna roll up inside. I'm gonna try to get myself some of this dragon meat and, like I said, study it a little bit, see if I can tell if it's like a local dragon or something before I devour it.
Right. A large, portly man with a huge smile, human in his 60s, probably, with his hair, white hair and long dreads, just rumbles up to you as you come in. Ah, hello, tiny descendant of dragons. Have you come to partake in today's catch?
It smells delicious. Iodi would like to know about this, and he would like to consume.
Ah, very well. Would you like to eat before you have a look at the carcass? It can be made to happen.
I would like to look at this and then eat.
Ah, very well, very well. For those wanting to look at the carcass, it's 1 copper.
All right, and I'll give him 2 copper.
Ah, you're a man of fine taste and wealth. Please come with me. He brings Iodi out into a walled-in backyard where there's a huge carcass hanging. You can see 8 people working on the butchering of it. It's a dragon turtle. Ah, this beauty, she was caught only a day ago. Working as fast as we can to get as much meat off of it as possible for the heat ruins it. Ah, dragon turtle. When we get it in, nothing beats it. No meat quite as delicious and flavorful. And treated right, melts in your mouth. Also makes for quite good jerky. Not to mention in stews. So many things you can do with dragon turtle.
I am disappointed, but I will still consume.
Very well. For the dragon turtle, it's rare. It's 1 silver for a full meal.
Yes, I will take this. I would like to take some with me as well.
We can, of course, make a meal to go. We also have several products made from dragon turtle. Grease for your shoes, for waterproofing. We have a nice dragon turtle pate from the brain. A necklace of teeth, perhaps, for a distinguished man like you to show the ladies that you're a hunter of beasts.
Iodi would like some of this grease. Give me 3 portions of this, and I will take one of your necklaces because that sounds fantastic.
Very well, sir. That will be a total of 3 gold, 4 silver.
Okay, I will do the thing.
Yeah, you see him walk over to a large rounded, looks like a some sort of cooking contraption. He pulls out a piece of meat about the size of Eodi's head. He places on a large plate, fills it up with all sorts of collard greens, steamed corn, that sort of thing. Looks like some biscuits and some sort of gravy as well. Carries it over to a table for Eodi. It's also served in addition to this, Eodi gets a cocktail. Served in what looks like a regular small turtle shell. Still enough that Eodi's going to need to use both his hands to drink from it. So.
Amazing. I'm in.
Meal's fantastic. And having paid as much as you did, and it seems like he's fond of kobolds. You even get a little wicker basket to carry the other 2 meals and the dragon turtle grease in. Whether you want to just wear the necklace or not is up to you.
No, I got the necklace for something else.
Yep.
And then after I consume, I will head to the inn to meet with the other people. I'm pretty sure I heard where they were going. If not, I'm just going to wander about until I figure out where they're at.
Yeah. You're in luck. Puttering about trying to find them. The first of the inns you walk past, you hear the terrified screams of mice being chased by a kitsune in the stables, and you can also recognize some of your horses as you look in. You're pretty certain that's where they're going to be.
Fair enough. I will go and look for my companions.
Yep. So you've had an hour since checking in, so you've had time for bats and that sort of thing. What are the rest of you up to, except for Ed, who we know is conducting a small massacre on the family of mice in the stables?
Yeah, Estrella is waiting for Marisol to get ready to go out shopping and gathering information.
Marisol is taking her sweet time, finally having a warm bath and the ability to get warm and dry and clean. But she'll be down there very soon.
So that just leaves the rest.
Zara is currently in the main room of the bar, having just prestidigitated herself clean and dry, with a beer and a book, listening to what people are talking about in the tavern.
Magnus has offered Zara the chance to share a room with her, with him, I should say. And having taken a bath and being slightly damp, but at least in clean clothes, he's checking over his armor and weapons for rust and water damage.
Pretty sure he's contemplating going out and getting hold of some swamp gear, basically ropes that will not rot so easily, and possibly any other kind of specialized gear that might be useful here.
Right. So what's Mador doing then?
Oh, I'm gonna take myself a nice bath myself. Yeah, and start going through my weapons and armor, make sure that everything's still good. Then just kick back into like a corner and just sit and observe.
Yeah. So those of you observing, from what you've heard and experienced so far, the beer is surprisingly cold and refreshing. It's a light, slightly fruity taste to it. Most of the people at the trade conference have been by eating lunch in the sitting room that they've just bought and brought in while you've been sitting there yourselves. The 2 main topics of conversation. One seems to be that the river wardens killed a dragon turtle yesterday and towed it to La Linde. So A lot of them are hoping to get to try out Dragon Turtle while it's on the menu. The other thing is the disruption of trade with Langon, Lacanau, and La Rochette from the Black Dragons getting much more aggressive. Even though they've tried everything. They've tried going out only at night. They've tried hiding what they're transporting. They've even tried hiring wandering wizards and being invisible on the water. But they're losing, from what you heard, something like 2 to 3 times as many barges to the dragons as they did only 2 months ago.
Estrella is going to ask if anyone can remember something why the dragon could be more aggressive now.
Who's she
Did
gonna
something
ask?
happen? The locals, not the traders. The locals. And then after that, the traders.
So,
Like, do they remember an event 2 months ago, or any news that
give us
could
a
have
diplomacy
changed the
check then.
behavior?
Diplomacy. Dee-dee-dee-dee.
Boop, boop, boop. There it is. Oh, come on.
Well, first she's chatted up Honorine, who's still standing in the reception. She doesn't really have much of an idea about dragons or what they do or why they'd be attacking more. Maybe it's hungry. That's her guess. As for the traders, they have a lot of various theories. Everything from the world ending to the dragon trying to weaken all of their trade so that they'll be easy to bring into some sort of trade cartel under the dragon, to it just being hungry. Estrella spends quite a lot of time and some drinks getting that much information out of them. They're pretty close-mouthed, not really interested in talking to strangers. But of course, a bubbly, young, nice lady giving him a big smile is enough to lure some talk out of some of them. Just as she's getting frustrated and ready to go back over to Zara to share what she's found again, she can hear Honorin go, "Woo! Dragon Man, welcome to my humble establishment. What can I do for you?" You can see her curtsying deeply in front of Iodi.
Iodi seeks a band of adventurers, grand and fair. Have you seen them?
Oh, are these your minions, sir? Yes, some of them are in the bathhouse. The rest are in the sitting room there. I believe one of them isn't in the room. Are you also planning on staying, Master?
I am going to assume that my captain has already secured us a place to sleep for the night.
Yes, but she did not mention that somebody of your grand stature would be visiting. Please, here is the key for the suite in the top floor. She hands Iodi a gold key.
Many thanks to you. I will be meeting up with my friends now. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go towards where Estrella and Zara are sitting.
Right.
I'm gonna sit down next to Estrella and kind of give her like a little nudge.
There you are. You've found something interesting?
First things first. Iodi has a gift for you, Estrella. It appears to me perhaps I was too harsh the other day when we were speaking of potions. Iodi rarely thinks of things before he says them. So I've brought you a gift, and I will give her the dragon tooth necklace.
Very surprised she takes it. Thank you. Apology accepted, I guess.
Yes, and if you would like to learn about the making of potions, Iodi will be glad to teach you.
That would be great. I know the basics, but I know that your potions are more potent than mine.
This is a thing we can work on, certainly. And Zara, tell me of Geb,
What do I know about Geb?
You'll know pretty much everything about Geb that's written in the document.
Okay, give me a second to open the document.
Well, I've asked around a little bit about that dragon, and apparently he got more aggressive about 2 months ago, but no one could or wanted to tell me why. A lot of theories, but nothing certain.
Yodi attempted to learn things of this dragon as well, but the best they could do is turtle.
Oh yeah, they said something about the river guards dragging a dragon turtle up.
Yes, and I'll plop the takeaway that I brought from the restaurant. It is scrumptious, I will tell you this.
Smells fantastic.
Certainly not a meal you see often.
Yes, try some. Iodi brought enough for everyone, yes?
Thank you. You're generous.
Iodi does not like to step on toes anymore that he is not going to consume.
So, Geb is the god of hearth and home, particularly favored by rural communities. While Aller, you'll hear about him, is popular in like kingdom level, big society. Geb is about like the village and the family. Typically, you'll see temples of Geb are small and tend to be used as they double as like workshops and small shops and things. Very practical. As followers of Geb tend to be tradesmen, in addition to being following the scriptures, and their clergy, typically known as homesteaders, are very practical about how they assist their community. Has some things about taking care of your hearth and home and taking care of your tools and animals.
This is very intriguing, Zara. Do you know why perhaps you would use an illusion to hide what is going on in a Temple of Geb?
Because it's not a temple of Geb.
Yes, this is what Iodi was thinking as well.
Quite like that church we found in the bottom of Ravensbridge that was not.
Yes, perhaps we will have to seek out more information on this.
Well, if you tell me a location, I can go have a discreet look.
Insert location here. Yes, I would appreciate it if you could tell me anything you find out. Iodi smells dragon there. If that is all, Iodi will now be going to the bathhouse, as I would like to wash. And I'm going to stride off to the bathhouse.
Yeah. Honorin notices Eodi walking to the bathhouse and sends two younger employees to scrub his scales and polish his claws and bring him any snacks that he wants. So he's being properly pampered. You can notice like 2 bathtubs off, there's almost a slight snoring from Marisol. You can see she's got her hand on what looks like almost a fishbowl of some sort of blue liquid with pieces of ice and fruit in it.
I'll let her be.
So Zara is taking the room that was on the first floor, regardless who else is going to stay in it, and she's going to go into that room and illusion and glamour herself.
Yeah, so she'll enter, see Magnus sitting in his breeches, polishing his armor, and change into whatever she wants to look like, and just walk off again.
Yeah, she's going for a look of somewhere in the middle of the range of wealth she has seen sitting in the town. Human, nondescript. And then instead of walking through the door, she's going to walk up to the window, make a duplicate of herself outside, and then walk off.
Right.
Good luck.
So Sora's now in a white linen suit with a loose white shirt and a large hat, large wicker hat. In addition to sensible waterproof shoes, because this isn't a swamp, and even though you're inside the city, the streets are pretty damn muddy. There's a lot of shoe shiners around.
Yeah, I'm gonna head towards the temple to have a look-see.
All right. As she comes down to the temple, you can see the doors are open. There's the sound of people doing manual labor in there, hammering, sawing, that sort of thing. She, of course, doesn't have Iodi's nose for the draconic, but there's a subtle, lingering scent of perfume in there. Sora's not a connoisseur of perfumes, but she can pick up at least lilacs and elderberry. Is she gonna have a look inside?
Yeah, she's got a amulet to give out. And she's gonna go visit the temple.
Yeah. She comes in. She can see a lot of youths, mostly late teens. The oldest of them, maybe early 20s. Working, hammering, sharpening knives, working on cobbling boots, that sort of thing. There's a lot of pews behind the work area, 6 on each side. From what Sora knows, this is pretty large to be a Temple of Geb, especially for a town this size. Walking around, instructing these young men and women as a large, powerfully built, fairly young man, dressed in the same sort of white linen suit that Sora's wearing, but he's got a big, heavy leather apron on, big, heavy leather blacksmith's gloves going up to his elbows. Also has an amulet of Geb out. So she comes in. He just nods to her. There's free room if you need space to work. Does she look like a male or female now?
She currently looks like a male.
Looks like a male. So yeah, there's space if you need to work, good brother.
She's gonna nod at him and then go sit at the pews and hold her amulet and you know, assume a prayer position. And then she's going to close her eyes and will her eye to let her see through illusion. And she's going to activate her true sight.
Right. She can feel the eye kind of flaring up. Not physically, but the power in it. It feels like half of her head is on fire. She looks around, seeing through illusion. There's remnants of illusion magic on all of the windows. And she can also see that there's a trap door over in front of the altar that's covered by an illusion. And also, the little handle is people. They seem to be keeping people from stumbling over it just by having a brazier of coals standing over it. As she looks at the priest walking around, the illusion over his holy symbol burns away, and she can see the image of a draconic head snarling, half of it a skull and half of it with black scales.
Zara would like to see if she knows anything about that particular symbol.
It's made in the traditional way of making a holy symbol, but she hasn't seen or heard of this particular one before. From what she does know, a lot of those who worship dragons often use the draconic skull as part of the imagery for whatever symbol they make for their cults. Much to the annoyance of many dragons, although that varies from dragon to dragon.
Okay, Zara's gonna get up and leave at the end of her prayer. She's gonna walk around the corner and pull out her wand of greater invisibility. And then, was there a side door near where that trap door was?
Yeah, the side doors on the right and the left are almost in a line from it.
Okay, she's going to apply the greater invisibility to herself and then pick the lock on that door. We'll go with the left one.
Right. Give us some lockety pickety. Yeah, easily enough. Without a sound, she picks that lock. She enters. Well, give us a stealth. Seems like nobody's paying her any attention as she slips in through the door. She can hear the priest instructing the different youths in there and the different trades they're doing, sharpening knives, weaving baskets. He's particularly praising one young lady. Very well, Lysandra. If you keep this up, you'll be able to weave these baskets underwater.
You said that the brazier was sitting on top of it, or was
Yeah,
very
it's
close to.
standing on top
trapdoor.
of the trapdoor, and over the latch that you could grab to open it.
Zara is going to very slowly move that forward while the priest isn't looking.
Right. Give us a perception. Oop, nope.
Perfect.
Well, she manages to move the brazier. What's her next move?
Is the trapdoor locked in addition to illusioned?
Doesn't look like it.
Well, I suppose we're just yanking the trapdoor open quietly then.
Right. Give us a reflex save. It's a DC 31. Right, so as Sora touches the latch or, to open the door, electricity courses through her hand. It's going to be 48 electricity damage to Zara. In addition, there's a very clear sound of a dog barking, and the bell in the temple starts to ring.
Interesting.
You can hear the priest say to his congregation, "Get the city champion. We're being robbed." He turns and, well, Sora's just about managed to apply that invisibility to herself again, as her arms right arm is still shaking and smoldering from the electricity.
Interesting. You are tracking that greater invis doesn't break for damage and things like that, right?
Gotcha. So she's still invisible. Is she going to be standing right next to that trapdoor?
No, she is going to move off to one of the corners of the room to observe what happens.
Right. All of the youths run out, scatter to find the city champion, whoever that is. The priest, for a moment, looks down, closes his eyes, and when he looks up, you can see his eyes are now a dark yellow with black cat-like slitted pupils. He looks into the room, doesn't seem worried at all. In a moment, the champion will be here and she'll fillet you like a fish. But if you bow down before me and swear allegiance to the black-scaled master, you might survive the day.
Zara is going to make a duplicate of herself out the window and walk away.
Right. Yeah. She appears outside of the window, starts walking away. Give us another stealth. right, and a perception, please. Yeah,
And
she
just a
notices.
reminder, I do have foil senses as well as swift sneak.
Yeah. She notices several people acting strangely. Walking around, talking, smoking their pipes or cigars, and then suddenly stopping for a moment and staring into alleyways. Or taking weird routes that take them out of their way of wherever they're heading, but into spots where they can look at hiding places, that sort of thing. She also notices there's a man, probably in his 40s, here that's making himself scarce real fast, dressed in just the same clothes that most of the townsfolk. But as she looks at him, these are much higher quality, and she can see that under his loose vest, he's got a lot of hidden pockets and pouches. He's doing his best to get the heck out of Dodge. Obviously, not having been out to do anything honest, and Sarah's called down a proper shitstorm in this part of the village. Curiously, there's no city guards around. But she does see a tall, powerfully built individual in heavy, dark green plate armor, walking around, visor down, huge lizard skin cloak, and boots made of the same material. Resting a huge honking sword on her shoulder, curved, more like the ones you've seen from the hobgoblins from Shencheruar. Not a type of sword you see a lot in Goldglens. Long, thin, curved blade. She sees that individual walk into the church, and that's what she can manage to get before making herself scarce.
Yep, she's going to sneak back to the window that she had originally left from and re-enter the room before dropping all of the illusions.
Yeah. Magnus is now fully dressed, but she still almost gives him a small heart attack as she just boomf appears inside of the room.
Help me, Bob. You startled me.
Quite, and if anyone asks, I was always in here.
You just stepped out of the wardrobe. Nice disguise, by the way.
Yes, we have ourselves quite the intriguing thing going on within this village.
Let's go downstairs. I'll get a beer, and you can tell us about it.
Oh, it's not something we're going to talk about in the common room of the inn.
Well, at least let me get a beer, and then we'll find somewhere else to talk about it.
Quite. We'll have to gather everyone up and rent out the conference room that they have available, and then seeing about making sure that there's no one listening in while we do so.
Well, we have enough folks that should be able to catch anyone trying to overhear. We'll need to see Madame Baudelaire and find out about that room. I think the others are downstairs in the common room. Apart from Marisol, I haven't seen her. But then I've been up here.
Well, you know her. She thinks that bathing is the greatest luxury ever invented.
Not all of us have magic that can clean us. It is one of the greatest inventions.
It's nice, but it's not worth spending your whole evening lounging in warm water.
I don't know. I can think of worse places to relax.
It's like
Come
someone's
on.
trying to cook you.
Well, it's a short walk to the bar from your room, or the common room / bar / sitting room, where well, I don't know who's there currently. Marisol's this whole adventure of Zara has taken about hour and a half.
Sounds like I had time to wake up, finish my drink, and go get dressed.
Yep.
Preacher is definitely headed out already to the market or the traders or the herbalists, depending on whichever way is easiest to find, and trying to source those swamp survival gear items. Possibly even have a chat with them about how to survive the breath weapon of a black dragon.
All right, that sounds interesting. I think we'll do Preacher's thing real fast. The best supplier, from what you hear, is down on the docks.
Let's go find the person.
Come into what looks like a combination of warehouse, tannery, fishing shack, and bar. There's a scattering of men and women dressed in the deep green uniform, wearing the lizard skin. It keeps appearing in different pieces of gear. They're not uniformly equipped, but you do notice a lot of them have sort of a short but heavy axe with a long, thin axe head on the front and a pick on the back. In some cases, a hammer.
Well, pick probably the bartender or the person in charge, it seems, and just step up and inquire.
It's a man in his 40s, dressed in the regular clothing you've seen with most of the people here, with the loose vest and everything. You can see he's almost hard of breath, sort of sweating, but he looks up at Preacher with a grin, like, a customer. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, new to the travels of the swamps, so I'm looking for someone that can provide a bit of survival gear for a party. We're going to be traveling probably both on the rivers as well as in among the swamps. So I fancy that probably there's specialized gear that I could avail myself of. As well as if you know anybody that can talk to me about how to survive a black dragon breath. They do spit acid, I think.
Well, you're in luck, sir. Here at the Broken Fang, we only purvey the finest items to the river wardens.
Excellent. What can you tell me of the gear in question? What to recommend?
Well, I assume you'll be traveling by boat most of the time.
Yes.
If you plan on fighting, even if you don't plan on fighting, I'd recommend picking up a couple of boarding axes. Useful for getting through any doors or hulls if you need to, taking care of rigging, webbing. From what I hear, quite effective against the scales of a lot of the critters out there as well. I have several different types for sale. Of course, you're going to want to look into some lizard skin gear. It's really the only thing that stands properly up to the swamp over time. If you plan on being just a week, maybe 2 in the swamps, maybe regular leather, regular armor will hold up. After that, it'll start rotting, rusting, falling apart, become a liability to you. We have some variations of reinforced lizard skin, doubles, coats and that sort of thing. For the discerning customer, we have one suit of ironbark plate as well.
Hmm.
It's going to be expensive, I can tell you this much, but if you want heavy protection for dragon hunting in the swamps that doesn't rot away, ironbark will be your best bet.
It's good to know. I myself, being a fighting monk, don't use armor, and as you can see, my terracotta skin doesn't really care much about the swamp or not, but my companions are not so aptly in shape.
Yeah, but you as well, good sir. We have had others of your kind here in the last 2 years, traveling through or working. From experience, a lot of the bugs can get caught in various crevices. And we do have a nice abrasive powder you can use for keeping yourself clean and your joints fully mobile.
That would be appreciated. Could you just simply give me a short list of the cost of each item, and I'll have a chat with my captain about what we need and return to you post haste. I'll take one of those abrasive powders to go as well.
The abrasive powder, would you like a small or a large box? They come in a
Depends on
tin, waterproof tin box as well.
How many days does a large one last?
For a warrior your size, you can see he's kind of struggling whether to call you a man or a woman. And ends up just going for something generic. In the swamps, doing heavy work like going off trails, off river, that sort of thing. A large box, I'd say a week.
That will take a large box.
Large box, that'll be 7 silver. The boarding axes are the finest quality. Also, the wood used for them so they don't rot is quite expensive. So those are 3 gold per. The lizard skin comes in 2 variants. You have the armored double. You can see several of the river wardens here are using. That's going to run you 5 gold pieces. There's also a heavier reinforced coat with protection for thighs and ankles and shins as well. And that one will cost you 10 gold. The ironbark armor, I hate to say this, but that's it's going to run you 800 gold.
Understandably, quality does cost.
Yes, ironbark, as you know, it's a finite resource. There aren't many trees from the first empire left anymore to get the bark from. On the upside, if you get knocked off your barge while fighting in it, you'll float.
I look at him deadpan when he says, "There's not much left from the first empire." I know.
Of course, other than that, we have various types of rope. We have tents. We have hammocks. How large is your expedition? I could give you
10.
An estimate of an expedition of 10. Are you bringing? I will strongly recommend that if you bring any animals, just bring pack animals. The terrain here is not fantastic for riding a horse and poking a lance at people.
No, we're probably not going to bring anything but pack animals.
10. Any of you of your adventurers? So I know this is going to be weird, no matter how I look at it. But when it comes to pricing, any of you particularly small or particularly large? Do I need to think of wings, tails?
Oh, I don't think we need to bother with the smaller ones. So count 8 in total.
8 in total.
So 8 people. The other 2 is probably going to solve it themselves with other means.
Clothing. You'll want some rope. Are you in need of transportation? Can
Possibly.
find you a barge that won't fall apart within the first few days. And of course, most importantly, will you be availing yourself of that ironbark armor?
It's a good question. I'll have to go and talk with my captain first.
Well, 80 people. Well, you need rations as well. Things that will hold and not rot.
To be clear, 8 people gonna need equipment. 10 will sort for themselves. So we are just 10 people total. We're not looking for transportation for 80.
No, 8 people. But will all 10 be eating? Do you need rations?
Yes.
Things that don't rot within the first 24 hours in the swamp.
Yes.
I hate to ask, but you're adventurers, obviously. What are you doing in Gramon? You don't need to tell me, but it'll be easier for me to build you a proper package if you.
We hear you're having problems with dragons.
You can hear a lot of the river wardens around you that are picking up the conversation, or either making some gesture of luck, or in one case, spitting on the floor. In that case, sir, I think I can give you a nice discount as well.
Thank you.
When it comes to alchemical items, will you need any potions for antidotes for poison, swamp fever, that sort of thing?
Likely on all counts.
Very well. See, the best price I can give you right now, my friend, is for ropes, transportation, food, clothing, armor, in addition to antidotes to poison and the other most useful things you'll need. For 10 people, without the ironbark armor, I can do it for 650 gold. With the ironbark armor, that's going to run you. I'll give you a small discount. It'll run you 1400.
That sounds reasonable, but again, I'm gonna have to check this with my captain, of course. I will return probably later today and give you a notice. We're not going to be leaving until the morning, if that's acceptable, or if you need more time to prepare stuff.
I'll get working on this right now, but it'll take me a couple of hours. 2 bells after the dinner bell, I should be able to have all of this ready for you.
Understand that I'm not placing the order at the moment. I'm just saying that we likely will return and have a chat with you.
In that case, I won't start gathering anything I have in stock. I'll make ready for you, but it'll probably add another bell, maybe a bell and a half, if I need to go out and gather some rations and antidotes for poison from you. There's a lot of snakes in
Understandably.
this swamp.
I have to converse with my captain first, you understand, so I can't make any promises at the moment.
Of course. And you see a dwarf sitting close by. One of those lizard skin do blaze. Looks pretty worn. Notice his left arm is a prosthetic. One of the dwarven high quality ones that'll still let him move his left hand fully, but still, you can see gears whirring here and there. Leans over. Half of his face is horribly disfigured. Left eye is just a milky orb. Looks at you and you ought to be careful if you're going to talk about killing dragons in this area. A lot of river wardens, a lot of other adventurers, they've come here, talked big about killing dragons. Sometimes they haven't even gotten far enough from La Linda, but people can't hear their screams when the dragons attack. The walls have ears here. Not everybody, I think, is on the side that wants to kill the dragon. Are you aware of this?
Thank you for this information, sir.
In this building, he looks around at the other river wardens sitting, sharpening weapons, drinking espresso, or in some cases drinking much stronger things. In this building, you can be fairly safe. But the moment you leave Don't trust anybody. Well, don't trust us. If the dragons are killed, I'll be happy. But I'd be very careful were I you. There are forces in Lalind that I would not trust enough to piss on them to put them out if they were on fire.
Advice taken, sir. I take another look at his arm and see if I can give any tips on maintenance that might help him. That wouldn't offend him. Lord Engineering.
Give it a go.
Go see.
It's a good prosthetic, high quality of the dwarven stainless steel that'll actually stand up to being in this swamp for a while at the very least. Although you can see he keeps it almost immaculately clean. You do help him get a slightly better range of movement when he's turning his wrist. He gives you a little grin, like, I might actually be able to flick a knife again with this arm. Allow me to give you one tip and one gift. The March of Grammont does not stand as united as you believe, or as the king believes. The mayors of Lalind, Langon, Lacanau, they are always at each other's throats, trying to take trade away, trying to steal the best craftsmen, best traders from each other. And the Marquess, Sora up in La Rochette, she doesn't have as much control of this, much as you believe. We river wardens do our best. We answer to the Marquess and the Marquess alone, and you can see we don't actually get the lordly lodgings that you would expect from a part of the House Guard. There is a newfangled order as well, the Knights of the Dragon Turtle. There's not only dragons in these swamps. Most of what we fight is river pirates. Crocodiles that have gotten a taste for man flesh. And the odd cult that's found something fucking horrible in the swamps and have started worshipping it. Dragons are a problem, but they're not the full part of it. If you're going to La Rochette, remember this. Ramon currently is a land that stands divided. Oh, and if you are going to fight this dragon, and he reaches into a pouch and pulls out a long arrow from what looks like a tobacco pouch, covered in runes. This is the last of the arrows I have. As you can see, and he holds up his mechanical left arm. It didn't work out too well for me and my compatriots. Hopefully you'll have better luck.
Thank you, sir. Very kindly. And understand that this is not a bribe, but is there an orphans fund I can contribute to for the river wardens?
There is actually an orphans fund for the river wardens. You talk to Hugo over there. He's a crook and a scoundrel, but he is in many ways, he's an honest man. In many other ways, he's not, and they all laugh.
All right, I head over to the man, thanking the kind dwarf and making the arrow vanish into my sleeves, and pay 100 gold to the riverfront.
Yeah, he stares at you in surprise. Oh, sir, this is very kind of you. I will make certain it is used to the best ability for the ones left behind after a river warden is killed. There are many widows and widowers, orphans, that this will help out quite a lot.
I just hope we're not going to be counted among them. And part.
You seem like a good man, he says as you're heading out. Stay away from the Temple of Geb here in Lalind. It is not a place for good men.
Uh-huh. Interesting. Thank you again.
All right. And I guess you're heading back to find Marisol.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm assuming the rest of you have booked the conference room at the inn.
I do believe that was the plan. Yep.
Yep. So, kind of sitting, drumming your fingers, waiting for Preacher as he walks in. He's giving off the vibe of a big smile, but it's difficult to say with the Terracotta Man.
Yeah, we've known him for a while.
Oh,
Estrella checked the room for any devices to listen in or spy on them.
Yeah, there's at least 3 of them in that room that Estrella could fairly easily disable while you're in there.
Yeah. Absolutely doing that.
2 spy holes for listening, hidden in the filigree of the wallpaper of the room, and then she notices that the eyes on one of the paintings are actually clear, or glass that somebody would be able to look in and read lips from. That doesn't take her half a moment to disable it.
That should make it a little safer.
Are there any magical means?
I don't know if anybody's checked. Not that Estrella could find.
Magnus leans over. Nicely done, dear.
Is Ed in the room with us?
Yes.
Yep, he
Zara's
is.
going to pet him. Her
And-
nerves ache.
Yep.
I'll get your healing here in a second.
Her right hand has been slightly electrocuted, so petting the fox is probably a good
Such
idea.
thing. I'm resistant to that, but that was a lot to try to resist.
Right. So you all gather in the conference room, I assume.
Eode, you mind looking over the room for any magical traces?
Yes, EOD can do this.
Oh yeah, somebody's listening in with a spell.
I can't really do anything about that, though, can I?
I have not read up on how to deal with
I would have to
dispel
know the
magic in this
spell.
setting.
I would have to know the spell to counterspell. Is that one that I'm familiar with?
You don't know this particular spell, but there is a ritual in your book of draconic magic that would allow you to burn this spell out, causing a bit of damage to both yourself and whoever cast it.
Well, that sounds spicy. I'm gonna do that.
Right, so that's going to be 5 fire damage to Yodi.
Okay, I'm resistant to fire, so I'll take 2.
Right.
Actually, I take none. Never mind.
Well, you're pretty certain somebody just got a scalded ear somewhere.
Yodi is quite sure that we are safe from prying ears now.
Well done.
What is all this about?
Well, someone has gone to great lengths to try to figure out what we're doing.
I don't think it's about us. I mean, this is a trade conference room. I'm sure that they're just spying and trying to get trade secrets.
Also, there might be a dragon cult that knows what I look like through invisibility and illusion magic. I can't guarantee how much they saw when they looked at me, but the Temple
Wait.
of Geb here is a cult to a dragon. I attempted to enter the trap door that they have illusioned, and didn't spot the trap before it did quite a number to me.
So-
Great, I
Anyways,
just
I
have.
was always in the inn, if anyone asks.
So you're saying I shouldn't have told everybody at the end that we were here to kill the dragon?
I would suspect somewhere between a third and a half of the village is a part of the cult. As I was making my way back here, quite a few people were very obviously attempting to look for something. Although I was not the only person out causing misdeeds in the area, I did see another individual making haste away just as I was.
Just lovely.
That matches with what I heard from the river wardens. I was down by the docks inquiring about survival gear and general swamp knowledge. Coincidentally, I did mention that we might be looking for a dragon or so, and the people there got very spooked and basically told me that whoever mentions that they're hunting dragons tends to not get far outside the village or even outside the village before they are attacked by dragons.
Well, if there's dragon cult in the city here, we may not even need to go out. I mean, the lady running the inn here did say that just recently again there was a knocking on her door. So they may not be far out in the swamp as we thought they are.
That doesn't sound too bad. I mean, it saves us the trouble of having to look for them if they just come to us.
Absolutely.
However, this does not mean that the great grandpapa black dragon is going to come knock in.
Yes, Iodi requires the head of a very specific dragon.
Probably not, but I can get, the claws from his other kids while I'm at it.
Well, no matter what we're actually hunting, we should get rid of the kids first, so we don't get to deal with both the dad and the kids at the same time.
Absolutely.
However, let me give you a little bit more insight into Gramont and the River Warden's view of it. They basically stated that Lalinde, as well as Langon and Lasano, is divided very strongly. So our standing and our actions here might or might not be taken well and might be construed in any way that the nobles or people in charge wish it. So if we do take action, we might not be considered within the law. It's unclear.
Yes, and the innkeeper was way too friendly with Iodi. I wonder if there are traps being set for us now, eh?
Probably. I would not recommend eating or drinking anything.
I also have something else. The river wardens seem to be a very good lot of people, and they have offered a deal for equipment, survival gear, as well as a set of armor at a decent rate. So, Marisol, I think this is something that you should be handling, or at least be informed of. 650 gold for rations, potions, anti-acids, anti-poisons, etc.
No, anti-poisons. I wanted to buy some anyway. That's handy.
Well, how much gold do we have between us? Because I cannot afford that.
650 gold, no problem. 1400, however, would be the total price if we want a iron bark armor as well.
Well, I have about 800, but after that I'm broke.
I can cover the 650. That's not a problem, but an iron bark armor is probably a little bit too much for me.
I don't know if anybody here would want iron bark.
Does anyone need it?
It depends on how good you are at maintaining your gear. Most leather rots away here very, very quickly.
I mean, luckily we're not planning on staying a long time, right? And kill the dragon out.
Yeah, that might be a week or more.
We can also make aggressive use of prestidigitate to keep anything from lingering on the armor for any period of time.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's very important that we keep dry, especially our feet and stuff, because that's going to be hell.
Yes. Second question. Do we actually have... Marisol, are you good with bows? I say and pluck out the runic arrow.
Unfortunately, I am very bad with bows. Had it been a bullet?
It is not. This is a gift from one of the surviving adventuring parties that was trying to kill a dragon and failed. This was the last of the arrows they had.
What kind of
I
arrow
suspect
is it?
I suspect it's something. I hand it over to Iodi. Runes and everything. Something for dragon slaying.
Can't you just like pack some powder and stuff the arrow down, the barrel? Should be good, right?
If I want to explode myself, sure. But I feel like I do that more often than I'd like anyway, so perhaps not.
I have my bow. I can take a crack at that one.
Sure. Do I know anything about the arrow? Giving it a look over.
Yes, indeed. You have a PM about it right now.
Ooh.
Well, we will try to make it as easy as possible for you to aim. We only have that one shot.
If we only have one shot, I'd say we keep it for the Big Daddy Dragon.
I believe Iodi could do something with this, given one of Marisol's bullets. Perhaps I could move this in this direction, make it much easier for her to utilize. Also, speaking of dry feet, and I will put the 3 dragon greases I have, Iodi does not wear boots. Have fun.
Thank you.
That's very handy. Thank you, Master Yodi. And he tosses him a gold coin. For the horde.
Ah, yes.
That'll keep the pads of my paws from cracking.
I'm gonna hand Master Iodi a few bullets and see what you can do. I am the best shot here, but I can't shoot a bow.
Yeah. Iodi will see what he can do. I have done something like this very, very few times, but probably Iodi can make this work.
You're an eye surgeon.
Does it also work in close range weapons?
No.
Too bad.
And I figured it would be better for Marisol to use this than rather me trying to toss it like a dart.
You're an eye surgeon, like moving a simple rune around can't be too hard for the great Master Iodi.
This is true, and I commend you, sir. But certainly we will have to decide how we are going to use this, otherwise it will go to waste, yes?
Indeed. Had we still had someone who specialized in a bow, that would be something else, but right now I'm the best shot.
By a long way.
Yes, and then we must decide, do we attempt to do something about the dragon cult, or do we go looking for the dragon? My vote is known.
I say we go after the dragon. Perhaps we can help these people later, but right now it's the dragon that we need.
I mean, without a dragon, there's no cult, right?
Aye, that's the point. But it depends. The two might be linked. If the leader of the cult is one of the big fella's children, we may not have a choice.
Well, they have been warned now anyway, so we can't undo that. But, yeah. I would say we are just checking all of our supplies we get in this town before we set out. Make sure that they aren't rigged.
I would also say, I don't know about sleeping in these rooms. Maybe put some, straw dummies under your covers and sleep under the bed. In case, you get stabbed in your sleep.
That we all gather in one room and just pretend we are all in different rooms?
You mean like if we had a large set of rooms that we couldn't stay in?
Perhaps? I don't know.
Didn't Madame Bordeaux-Leone say something about a suite?
Yodi was given the key to this suite. However, were someone to interrupt his sleep, likely I would burn the entire building down.
Well, if there is room for us, Master Yoda, we promise we won't interrupt your sleep, but we'll keep watch and make sure that we're all safe, and then we'll just pretend to go to our own rooms once we get to nightfall.
I can set up some snares when we go to sleep, some alarm.
I do not think we must be this afraid, but we can do this if this is the plan.
I think it's a wise choice, but I would like to arrange these travel and food things with the river wardens because they needed a bit of time to get stuff ready.
That
I
sounds
will-
wonderful.
I will bring up that we do have magical sources of food, and perhaps we should not spend all of our funds on food.
We do have like crates and crates of food that got delivered.
And it's of magical origin. I suspect that it does not care about the environment it is in.
Okay, well, we will forgo rations, but I think that the anti-poison and acid potions would be nice.
Those would be nice.
Certainly be greatly helpful.
Yeah, you did also mention a barge because trekking overland in a swamp is probably not a good idea.
I know. The swampland it's not great for knights and charging.
I'm
Yeah.
guessing we'll just pay for someone to take care of our horses here then.
Likely.
I don't know about leaving our gear and horses with dragon cultists.
Preacher said that the river wardens seem to be on our side of this particular engagement. Maybe they have the facilities to watch over our animals while we are gone.
I think they might be saying they are on their side. Not necessarily our side, but friendly. We can have a discussion with them about safekeeping some of our stuff. I don't know.
Their own side is far better than trusting the odds of having dragon cultists eat
Yes.
our animals while we are gone.
Well, Etienne can look after himself. He's already got one of the grooms terrified, but it would be a great comfort to know he would be someone with slightly better odds. I don't think he could overcome a dragon by himself.
And Bill is my friend, but just a normal horse.
Then I suggest somebody else accompanies me down to the river wardens and have that discussion.
I'll come with you.
Isn't our wagon shaped like a boat? And aren't our mounts kelpies?
I think they are.
That's a good question, and that's entirely correct.
But one of our wagons.
Yeah, one of your wagons. The one from the fairies.
It might do very well in the swamp.
It just might.
Maybe that's why we have it.
That doesn't change the fact that Bill and Etienne won't.
Right. Well,
But yes, how many horses do we need to stable?
It's a good question. Certainly Billy and Etienne. I don't know about the rest of the pack animals. How many kelpies do we have?
2.
Well, the Kelpies will be coming with us.
Exactly.
I meant to subtract from the total.
I've actually had another one. I was riding one.
Has the wagon Zara's been driving been a 1-horse or a 2-horse wagon?
It's been a 2-horse wagon. Twice the amount of horsepower.
So 3 in addition to Bill and Etienne?
Yep.
So stabling for 5 then.
Stabling for 5 and keeping one of our wagons, and then the rest is coming with us, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll go for their offer then and have our stuff protected.
Hopefully.
In the meantime, I would suggest that we quietly take our equipment and possessions up to the suite, and, a little at a time, so as not to raise too much suspicion.
That sounds like a good idea. Estrella, can you move my stuff as well?
I think so.
It should all be neatly packed. It's just not too much.
Yeah. Just a quick question. We do have good noses here, right? So I could make a trap to mark them with a scent as well as an alarm trap. So afterwards they would be easier to find if they run away.
I don't think that'd be necessary.
That sounds fun though.
Could we arrange it so they smell like Ed, the little furry creatures, bit smaller than you sell. The big long tail, white streak down the middle.
Oh, the Skunkinators.
Aye, that's the one.
I could do that, but that they would very quickly try to scrub off. So something more subtle would be better for our sniffers to find.
Aye, I've heard it's quite pernicious, but you're probably right.
You can think about that, and then I'll go with Preacher to get this rolling. And then I suggest we all meet for dinner later and pretend like everything's exactly as it should be. And we'll stick to the idea that we're gonna kill the dragon and all of that. Right?
I believe our plan is to kill the dragon.
Oh yeah.
Dragons.
Dragons.
Very well.
And
However,
meantime,
we've been going for a bit over 2 hours now, so I think we're going to take ourselves a 10-minute break, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
And go.
There we are. Welcome back, everybody. Went a bit over time on that break, waiting for people who were already present. And the beauty of not having full cameras. Yes, so you've had yourself your little chat and conversation in the conference room. Now, who's planning on doing what?
Estrella is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Estrella is walking up to Azera. Hi, you know how to get invisible, right? Could you help me with that? I mean, when I'm setting up the rooms, that's probably better to people not see me.
One moment.
I am going to run around town in my tiny fox form and remind you that I have shape changer's intuition.
Oh. So you're out hunting for shape changes.
Yep.
Oakley dokley. Well, let Sara and Estrella do their conversation first. But you can roll me a perception roll while we wait.
Great.
We're very observant today.
Outstanding. Well, I can tell you off the cuff that you're not finding any shape changers.
Yep. First roll of 20, second roll of 1.
Keep that up, and at least half your attacks will be criticals.
So, because these are alarm snares, would that count as a hostile action?
Well, what I'm planning to do are warning snares. Setting some up so when we are in Iodi's room, we can hear when they enter one of our rooms, as well as a marking snare to cover them in a scent for our fox to follow.
I'm gonna say setting that up is not gonna break invisibility. Unless you try to, like, put it in somebody's pocket or smack them around the head with it.
Then I can provide you 10 minutes of invisibility. Iodi might be able to provide additional time if 10 minutes alone is not enough.
We will see how long it will take. That are at least 3 rooms, if not 4, if I remember correctly.
You actually have 4 rooms you've paid for in addition to Iodi's suites.
Yeah, so that's 4 rooms that needs to be prepped.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're spending about 10 minutes per room setting up traps. It's not a super quick process to do unless you have them pre-made. And even then, it can take a bit of time if you want to do it covertly.
I have my kit for that, but no, pre-made they're not. And I'm certainly making sure that they are working.
Yeah, so being as good as you are, that takes it down to 10 minutes.
So invisibility for the room on the first floor?
Yeah, you have 2 rooms on the first
most-
floor, 2 on the second, and then you have the suite on the 4th floor.
So between myself and Iodi, perhaps we can get you invisible for the 2 on the first floor. That would be the most likely for them to breach first. And also the
Sounds
hardest
good.
to do without being seen.
True. All right, then we'll do that.
And the rooms on the second floor, you have a good reason to enter both, so...
Right, but I also have to, make the way to Iodi's suite for the warning snare to alarm us there.
Yep. Give us a stealth roll while you're doing this.
Mhm. I also have foil senses and the sneak 7.
Yes, and you're also invisible for this one.
Yeah.
But as Estrella is fiddling with the snare and leaving to carry the gear out of that room, she sees Lady Bordelon talking to a cloaked man in a very nice clothing, dark purples and blacks mostly, and he's handing her over a large vial. Like, for the dragon hunters, this is distilled from our master's acid. 2 drops in each portion of their dinner. It should kill them, but don't forget, the master wants the dragonling. He wants to squeeze his innards out and suck them down like the finest pate and then send his skull back to his master. And she's like, yes, of course, Lord. Just make certain none of the undead in the swamps come into the village, and we shall serve you faithfully. Don't fail me. You know what happens to people who fail me. For a moment, his hand cupping her chin changes into a black scaled claw. For he walks out of the inn.
Silver-coated claws?
Yes, indeed they are.
Got it.
And just after that, Edamir comes jumping in and looks around, seeing if he probably can see any shape changers. And nope, nothing here. And then he continues on.
Well, Estrella is going to finish her work. But we'll make sure to warn the others when we're all together again.
Right. While Estrella is doing this, I believe Preacher and Marisol are heading down to River Wardens. What's the rest of y'all planning on doing?
I am going to be in the main room reading my giant Draconomicon.
In the common room.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Magnus is quietly gathering up various people's possessions and ferrying them up to the suite.
Very well. Mador.
Is there any shadow corners in the common room?
Not in the common room. The common room's pretty well lit, even though it is starting to get towards the afternoon. It will be getting dark soon. In an hour or two, you'll have shadowed corners. It's got seems like they're planning on having the typical bar lighting in there.
I'm going to go into one of the corners that faces the door heading outside.
Right.
I draw the cloak up around me, and if anyone happen to be looking at me, all they're going to see is 2 purple orbs looking out.
Right, yeah, because you've got your cloak. Give us a stealth roll for that, please.
I'm really not trying to be stealthy. I'm just, if anyone looks into me, all they're going to see is 2 purple eyes looking out back at them.
Yep. So, yeah, he's doing just regular Dark Elf stuff. Lurking. Nobody seems to be surprised. The ones who notice him aren't really paying him any attention. But on the other hand, Mador's very lucky that most people here are here for that trade conference, and they're not actually looking for skulking elves in corners. They're looking for deals. Right. So Marisol and Preacher, you arrive again down at the river docks, in the warehouse slash barracks slash bar slash hunting lodge.
Mm-hmm. I head over to the gentleman I was talking to earlier, the proprietor.
Yeah, you see him. He's just finished having a heated conversation with a tall, muscular lady, dressed in the same sort of fine dress with a corset that Lady Bordelon has, but this dress seems more like it's meant to accentuate the fact that she's got a powerful build than anything else. She, on her way out, she throws a rude gesture with her hand back at him.
I'm
Okay,
gonna pretend not to notice.
we talk between ourselves until the lady has left the room.
Yeah. Yeah. Once she's left the room, you see him take a couple of deep breaths, down a shot of something strong. Then he looks up and, yes, a traveling terracotta man.
Indeed.
I assume this is your captain.
It is so. We also have a couple of alterations to our order, but we will be placing a slightly downgraded order. We do not need the rations. We are well supplied with food that will not go bad. We do need a bit of traveling arrangements. We have one vessel that will suffice, but we probably need a second one for some people on that are on foot. As well as the potions for poisons and antacids. A bit of rope, survival gear, and no armor is needed.
No armor needed? Well, it is brave. Many have found themselves unarmored when they finally find what they're looking for in the swamps, but you seem to know what you're doing. I won't haggle with you. Without the armors and without the rations, but everything else, I can give this to you for 400.
I look over to Marisol.
That sounds completely reasonable. We also were wondering if we could leave our horses with you to make sure that they are safe until we return.
5 horses, 1 wagon, possibly 1 or 2 small packs otherwise.
He looks around at the river wardens, and you see the dwarf with the mechanical arm kind of gives him a little nod. I'm certain something can be arranged. Is there a reason you won't leave it at the... I assume you're staying at Monteleone. That's the only place with a stable.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
they didn't seem to... Our horses don't seem to like it there.
Ah, yes. When are you planning on heading out? Actually, don't tell me. I'll make certain it's ready from... I'll need 3 bells. And you heard the dwarf go, 2. We'll need 2 bells to make it ready.
excellent. Many thanks.
And will you pick up our horses in 2 days?
In 2 days, we can pick up your horses, yes. If you're planning on eating, by the way, I would not go to Mr. Arnaud's. They're going to be claiming that they are selling fresh drain turtle meat today. You saw the proprietor, Miss Tori Sable, just left here. We had no dragon turtle meat to sell her. But I suspect it'll be on the menu and marked as fresh anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for the warning.
We don't anticipate eating much of anything that isn't provided by you, actually, in this town for the time being. I look around, not overly cautious, but to make sure that I understood the previous warning.
That seems clever if you've been talking about dragon hunting, I'm not certain we can keep your horses and gear in this location without undue risk, but we'll keep it close enough that it'll be available.
Well,
As
we can
long as
ask.
they stay safe.
What would you be requiring for cost for that in addition to the 400?
Feeds is actually quite difficult to come by for horses in this area. 5 horses. We'll have to charge you about 4 silver per day for this.
One of them is a war horse, so I will.
In that
Thank
case,
you for
it's
that.
going to have to be 5 silver per day. War horses eat a lot more.
Of
Yes.
course.
But yes, we can make this arrangement for you.
If I
Be
pay
aware,
you,
the city champion is on the prowl looking for a burglar from the so-called Temple of Geb. She's Lady Bonvillain saying, merciless bastard. She catches whoever it is she's looking for. She'll be out for the kill.
No. Thank you for telling us.
question: Is this champion the magistrate of the town, the most trusted one, or are there others?
We have our mayor, Mayor Barilo. He's trustworthy from as far as I know, but he doesn't have the power a mayor usually has over their town. The city champion, Lady Bonvillain, is supposed to uphold order for him, but she's a harsh woman. She will dole out sentences then and there. No trials, no courts, not even the well, you're in, you know which country you're in if you're a peasant. The very concept of a trial is laughable, but at least they pretend. She doesn't. That sort of verse has seen a lot of blood over the last year.
Understood. Shall I pay you in gold coin here? I look around a little bit to indicate that, yeah, I could.
Might as well get it over with. If you're going dragon hunting, I'm not going to let you pay when you come back. I'll
Absolutely.
need payment in advance.
Of
I
course.
count out 410 gold to cover the extra surcharge and a little bit extra.
He gives a little wink. 2 bells, and it'll be ready.
Please make
Thank
sure
you.
that you have enough potions for the acid and poisons, because we expect to have quite a fair use of those.
I can guarantee you 10 of each. If I find any more, I can buy them for you, but
We'll pay the extra. No worries.
very well.
We understand there might be younglings to deal with before the elder.
Interesting. It's not a piece of information well known. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And should you wish to try dragon turtle, I can recommend Cochon Cookery. Hugh is married to my second cousin. He's a good man.
I think a companion may have tasted that already.
It is a delicacy when available. Just don't eat the liver.
Why not?
People tend to die afterwards. There's something in it that's not healthy for most humanoids.
Well, we do have a dragonkin with us. He will advise us on edibility.
Excellent. I will see you when you are ready. But from 2 bells on, your pram and gear will at least be ready.
Thank you very much. And I will refer to you as the master of this place, but I will not ask for names.
He just nods, lights up a little small cigar, and you can smell a waft of cherry. Start smoking it.
Right, I paid 410 gold.
If I add a few gold, will you add some tobacco to the packs as well?
Oh, absolutely, madam.
Thank you. I just hand him 3 gold.
Yep, he gives you a little wink and starts talking to people to get things organized. You notice that the dwarf with the mechanical arm, a lot of them, as he starts asking people to do things, are looking over to him, and he keeps nodding to them.
Master Dwarf? I nod as we go out.
Yep, he nods back. So I'm guessing you head back to your inn.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, again, you've gathered yourselves now in Yodi's suite. It's got 4 separate bedrooms, 2 on each side. In addition to you're pretty certain it's just gold flake covered, but it looks like a gold bathtub.
Nice.
It is unfortunate that this is probably an attempt to get Iodi killed. It is a nice room.
Indeed.
Yeah, certainly very nice. And as she did with the conference room, she is going to look around for wires for listening or something.
Right, doesn't seem to be any physical holes or any way of spying on the suites. She does, however, hear that the dinner cart is on the 3rd floor, heading up to deliver food.
All right. I think dinner is coming up right now. I advise you to not eat it. EOD, would you be so kind to well, she makes a movement with her hand, like check the room.
Yeah, you can do this, yes.
Well, there's nothing in the room, but as the maid knocks and comes in with a cart, like, "Oh, excellent. Lady Baudelaire noticed you had gathered here, so she has sent up dinner for everybody.
Thank you so much.
Today's dish is a beautiful full roasted duck with an orange sauce, potatoes, and greens.
It looks delicious. Thank
Of
you.
course, wine and ale for everyone."
Thank you. We'll call if we need anything else.
Excellent. Have a fantastic meal. She curtsies and leaves. You see, there's also a small tray of looks like braised mice, covered in garlic and some spices.
As much as I would like to. Nope. I'm gonna poke the dishes. Be like, Estrella, do you think they could hide listening devices in here?
She gestures him to wait for Yodi.
Iodi sees nothing here.
Yeah, while she takes another look at the cart and dishes.
Well, nothing she can notice there, except for there's something with she's eaten this dish several times before. There's something with the smell that's just tiny sets off a little ringing, tingle in her back. Like there's, she's eaten this dish several times, and she's dealt a lot with poisons, and something's just not right with the smell here.
So, the room seems to be safe, so I'm gonna tell you. Apparently, most of the village, if not all of them, are definitely under the dragons. They have a problem with the undead from the swamp, and they are protecting them from them as long as they serve them. And yeah, in these dishes here is definitely poison. I saw, I don't know, probably a dragon that looked like a human handing a flask over to the lady of the house. With very potent poison from the black dragon himself.
I don't know about that. I went around to like almost everybody in town, sniffing them out, and I didn't find any shape changers.
Well, he was dressed very nicely, but I saw his claws. They were silver coated.
So the contents of the flask was to treat our food and drink.
Yep, distilled poison from the black dragon. 2 drops are enough, apparently, to kill us.
Right, well that
So-
saves me having to check the food then.
Great. And now
Well,
I'm hungry.
our rooms are prepared. So we should get a warning up here when they enter one of our rooms. And she takes out a little vial from her pocket and moves over to Edamir. This is the scent they will have on them if it all works as intended.
Reluctantly, I smell it.
It's god awful. To your nose. A regular human would probably not notice it.
I would like to point out that the proprietress and the maid know that we're all up here.
Yeah, which means we should be going out and do something later and make sure that we look like we're staying down.
Yeah, also, we are supposed to have dinner and probably be dead by the end of it. So whoever is coming to pick up our corpses will be coming in here.
Well, the problem is I don't know which poison that dragon has exactly, or I could tell you how to act on the symptoms. But, I mean, I think I still have a little bit of time to test it, right? And she takes out her alchemical set to find out which poison it is.
I
Feel
will
free.
also do a nature check, see if I can recognize it.
Magnus does a medicine check to see if he can recall anything about dragon poisons.
Which roll do you want from me for the alchemical testing? Medicine or something else?
That's going to be a crafting roll for you, actually.
A crafting, okay. I really have to level that one up, but here we go.
Well, it takes quite a lot of time to try to start isolating the poison from, well, the sauce that's been made. But Estrella's pretty certain she's got it isolated, at least a drop of it. As she hears, as you all hear voices whispering from outside, like, they should be dead now. Let's get the bodies. And that's where we're going to end today's session. So we will be back, everybody, next Sunday at 1800-ish CET. This episode will be going up by tomorrow on YouTube, along with the other 42 episodes before it. So if anybody wants to get caught up on the story, it's only going to take a couple of days of viewing on YouTube. But they're there. Go to Pathfinding Adventures on YouTube and have a look, and you will see all of the crazy shenanigans this party has been getting into to get to this point of crazy shenanigans. For now, though, we'll let our esteemed streamer Tulmar find somebody to raid. You all stay safe, stay healthy, and be well, and we will see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Doctor, our friend. Oh, hey, shout out for the raid.